Hello to my fellow history lovers and people that wake up in the morning and think, I just hope I learned something new today. Well, here's the start of a turning point in the American Revolution, the Battle of Saratoga. This guy, British General Burgoyne, promises this guy, his king, King George III, I'm going to end this whole rebellion thing. I got a plan. It's going to work. I'm going to march down from Canada and we're going to cut the colonies in half. I'll control the Hudson River Valley. We won't, the North and South in the United States, to be United States, won't be able to get supplies and communications. It's going to end. And he's hoping for a little help from his friends, which would be St. Ledger coming in from the west and Howe coming up from the north, none of which works. In fact, the entire plan is a disaster. But let's see how it starts going downhill. So to actualize his plan, British General Burgoyne has a long march, and he has almost 7,000 soldiers that he needs to keep fed, and also they need water. And we talked in an earlier video about how the men are getting sick because as he gets farther and farther south, there isn't fresh water, and sometimes they're drinking out of swamps and very stagnant water. And people at the time, there's no germ theory, don't know why, but they are getting really sick. Well, not only that, he has got 2,500 animals. So he's got cattle, he's got oxen, and he has horses. In fact, he has a lot of Hessians, which are essentially German soldiers that were hired, and they're supposed to be mounted on horses because they have very heavy hats and heavy artillery, and there's horses supposed to help carry the load. But the horses are also drinking swampy, stagnant water, as are the cattle, and the animals are dying at a rapid rate to the extent his Hessians often are no longer, the Dragoons specifically, are no longer mounted. So what's he going to do? So British General Burgoyne realizes things are not looking good. He gets as far as New York. He's in New York and he's realizing I desperately need horses as well as other supplies for his men and hopefully, frankly, some loyalists to come and join us. So he hears of a place called Bennington. It's not supposed to be guarded very heavily, so he thinks I'm going to send a detachment of men, about 800, and including those Hessians. Remember we said there's a lot of Hessians that are missing their horses at this point? They're going to go into Bennington and they're just going to gather up a whole bunch of supplies. That is the plan, but once again, the plan does not work. So why does British General Burgoyne's plan to get horses for his Hessians, these are Hessians, as well as supplies and hopefully loyalist recruits go wrong? Well, it's this guy. His name is John Stark, and he meets this force with about 1,500 rebels, including the Green Mountain Boys, who are fierce fighters. If you'll recall, Burgoyne only sent about 800. So 800 of his men are going to meet 1,500 under General John Stark, and it will be called the Battle of Bennington. And it is a disaster for Burgoyne. So British General Burgoyne does send reinforcements, about 600 more, but it's too late because Stark has used a flanking move and has already pretty much destroyed the first group. The second group also essentially gets destroyed. In this clash, the Battle of Bennington, it ends up that Burgoyne, instead of getting what he hoped, which was more horses, more supplies, and more loyalist recruits, he actually loses almost 1,000 men, which is almost 1 in 6, 1 in 7, something like that. It's a huge force and a big loss for Burgoyne, especially as he's moving toward the infamous Battle of Saratoga. Thanks for letting me share today. I actually love making these, so thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. And if you find yourself thinking that whole Battle of Saratoga sounds kind of interesting, there is an entire trilogy for the Kep Westguard adventures. There's Kep Westguard Rebel Spy, Kep Westguard The Great Escape, and finally Kep Westguard The Second Battle of Saratoga, which is available free for download for a limited time. And the code is in the description.